So, this is the reason the amnesia plot point wasn't resolved in Sonic Heroes, so we can get a whole game about it. So apparently, enough kids wrote into Sega that Sonic should have a gun, and rather than doing the logical thing of going, what? Why? No. They did ask one, well, Sonic having a gun is just ridiculous, that's out of the question. Shadow, though? The game starts off with Shadow brooding by a tree, thinking about how his pal being shot in cold blood by the military before the aliens attack the city. Yes, they're aliens now. The vague mention of a promise and the Chaos Emeralds are all that Shadow needs to get motivated, apparently. How do I even start to describe this game? So it's kind of an extension of Team Chaotix's mission structure from Sonic Heroes. The controls are mostly the same from that game as well, but they feel a little bit more, I guess, sluggish, especially trying to act out of a run. Speaking of, the running feels even more slippery than the speed formation in Heroes in my opinion. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, I don't blame you, this new feature was very subtly slided into gameplay. You can use guns! Shocker, I know. And even more shocking, the shooting is generally okay actually. Shots lock on automatically when you're decently near to enemies. The only ones that don't are big guns like rocket launchers and melee weapons, which are pretty useless in comparison, and the melee weapons have basically no reach. Every level has at least two routes, a hero route, a neutral route, and a villain route. Neutral missions are simple and best to start with when playing for the first time. Get to the goal ring as plain traditional Sonic as we're going to get in this game. The big thing of this game, aside from the overwhelming angst, is what I can only describe as a decision-based story. Now, I remember this game being marketed in like magazines and stuff as a kid, and it was pitched as a your actions define the story and Shadow as a character. Pretty ambitious for a game from 2005, but as you can imagine, the story is kind of an incomprehensible mess. With gameplay, Shadow has some new tools to mess around with, not just guns. Along with the good or evil story routes, doing good or evil acts fill out a blue or red meter at the top of the screen. Filling out the red meter lets Shadow perform Chaos Blast, a powerful AoE move, and filling the blue meter lets you use Chaos Control, which lets you warp through the stage quickly or slow down time during boss battles. Now, these sound useful in theory, and they can be pretty cool, but a side effect of this is when you fill a meter, you can fire a gun infinitely, making them do much more damage than any Chaos Blast could ever hope to achieve. And Chaos Control is only helpful when the goal is getting to the end of the stage. When the mission is killing enemies or collecting things, Chaos Control is more of a hindrance than anything. There are vehicles, but they feel really stiff to control, especially when turning, and Shadow just running is way faster than any vehicle in the game, making them serve no purpose whatsoever. The only time you really need to use them is normally when it's for platforming through obstacles, and fucking hell the walkers are awful to use. You better absolutely commit to making that jump. God forbid it's a moving platform and you need to adjust your position when landing. Looking at you, Cosmic Fall Hero mission. Actually, any mission in or outside the arc, with the one exception of the one where you race Sonic, is fucking dreadful. They all take ages to slog through, with either samey, confusing level design or giving you way too many targets strewn about to destroy or fix or collect, depending on the mission. Moreover, the environmental design is so fucking boring. Considering how varied and colourful the levels are in Sonic Heroes, the last big game before this one, I don't know how they managed to get this so wrong. Levels are either boring looking cities, boring looking metallic stages, or purple. There are a couple of standouts. I like all the cyberspace levels, and I found the design to be pretty creative, and Cryptic Castles, Circus Park and Lava Shelter are a decent mix-up from a visual perspective. The levels aren't the only things I have issues with in this game. The models look straight up ported from Heroes, and the bright, colourful, almost plasticky and toy-like way they look clashes so fucking hard with the environments around them, and it's massively off-putting with how badly they clash. To be honest, it feels like someone at Sonic Team looked over every aspect of Sonic Heroes and went, people didn't like the longer missions in Team Chaotix, and that you have to get every team ending to unlock the final story. Let's do all that, but more. And then someone else turned to them and went, that is fucking brilliant. This game is all about multiple choices and a branching story. The hero-leaning story is ironically where most of the cutscenes of Shadow being an asshole are, taking candy from a baby and all that, just to name one notable example. This was on my second run through, and already the tedium was really starting to set in, and for a game with one of its biggest selling points is meant to be its replayability, that's really not good. When I'm making videos on games, I like to go through the narrative they present, but with this game, that's basically impossible. With so many routes you can go through, there was no way that any writer was going to be able to piece a coherent story out of all this. In fact, with the 10 possible endings, there are a total of 326 possible routes. Jesus fucking Christ, that's about 320 routes too many. And the names, I'm gonna go over all the names of the routes I got later in the video, but they're something goddamn special. Also, this is more of a personal gripe than anything, but if they really had to include multiple endings, they could have cut it down to 5 at the very least. If someone's going for a purely evil ending, I highly doubt they'll go, actually no, I want to get that one good deed in right at the end. I just really fancy that for me. Like, it's not gonna happen. Now, just for fun, to try and get across with how fucking nonsensical any story in this game is, I'm gonna have Drunk Me try to explain the neutral story based just purely off memory, so take it away, Drunk Me. Hello, this is Drunk Me. I don't know why I decided to do this bit, fuck me. Yeah, so Shadow is just sitting at the tree and he's like, damn, Maria dead, me sad. Shout out to Maria, gotta be one of my favorite genders. And the alien goes, I promise, no, you made a promise, I want the Chaos Emeralds, and then goes, and then you get the Chaos Emerald, and he goes, oh, you didn't do it in a nice tone, I'm gonna bounce you about from place to place, and you go to prison, the island, called Prison Island, and you go, and then you vibing with him on a temple, and you're friends again, yeah, you just friends again. He's like, I threw you into the prison island, I guess you learned your lesson, Shadow, we're cool now. And then the Eggman's introduced, and he's got a sick new remix. It's called the Robotniks. No, what's it fucking called? I think it's called Robotniks. And it's like, yeah, that's fun. And then you go to Eggman's base, and you see a bunch of Shadow robots, and Shadow goes, I, Android 2. Yeah, so he thinks he's a robot, and then he meets Omega, and then he's like, yeah, hey pal, I want to kill Eggman still, let's go kill Eggman. And you find Eggman in the robot where he says the more the merrier, and Omega's like, yeah, let's fucking cap him. So you then cap him, but you didn't cap him enough. So you go to Eggman's lava land, Eggman's volcano island, and then you get to the end of the stage, and you play the shitty roulette boss, and Shadow's like, okay, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds now, are you fucking done? I'm the best robot, sorry Omega, I'm the best robot now. And robots are gonna rule the world, and I'm taking this base. This is gonna be my base now. Dr. Egg Shadow now. And Omega's like, target Eggman, I'm gonna fire now, but because it's E10, they can't, or that's the fucking Peggy rating. I can't remember what, not Peggy rating, that's the fucking American rating. I don't know the Peggy rating, I think it's like a 12 plus. So they can't show Eggman actually being shot to death. So Shadow's like, bye. Kung Fu chops him and he dies. It's a fucking fever dream. Okay. I don't want to talk about the Shadow the Hedgehog story anymore. Back to you, Sober Me. With Shadow the Hedgehog's release, Sega completely replaced the existing cast with the voice actors to match the ongoing anime at the time, Sonic X, and unfortunately it's not a good first impression. Generally the performances feel really stilted and awkward, and I think that's because of the horrible script mainly. I like Jason Griffith, I think he's a good voice for Sonic and Shadow, and of course Mike Pollock is an amazing Eggman, but I think because of this game's overly serious tone, they weren't really able to go all out in their performances. That, and I think a little part of it is growing pains of being relatively new to voicing these characters. I've got to be honest, I'm not huge on the soundtrack either. To fit the game's intensely edgy tone, pretty much the whole OST is hard rock, and I like rock, don't get me wrong, but so many of the songs sound so similar to me that it just ends up blending together into this bland, rocky soup. Some do stand out though. I like Westopolis decently enough, despite how many times you end up hearing it. I like Glyphic Canyon, and fun fact, part of the song is used in the anime High School of the Dead. Yeah, who remembers that modern fucking classic? Digital Highway sounds really different from the rest of the OST, so it jumps out to me for that reason. That and it's pretty catchy. Cryptic Castle has a fun but still a little bit of a spooky vibe to it, and I just kinda like it. Black Comet has a really nice beat to it, yet still manages to fit the theme of being in unfamiliar territory. And my favourite level theme in the game, Gun Fortress, a more acoustic sound that takes priority in the song, which makes the track stand out so much more. It's just so smooth and pleasant to listen to. Like the previous 3D Sonic games, Shadow has a variety of vocal tracks depending on what endings you get. The main theme, I Am All of Me, is overwhelmingly cheesy and self-serious, but everyone still likes it, myself included. I can't explain why, I just like it, okay? All Hail Shadow has gone on to become Shadow's theme song in later years, even up to now, but that's the later and in my opinion better Crush 40 version. The original version by Magnify is still a bop though. Waking up is the neutral ending theme, and despite how fucking stupid Shadow thinking he's a robot is, the robotic vibe is fitting, and in a vacuum it's still a pretty decent song. Almost Dead is the theme for the partly evil and pure evil routes. I don't know why they weren't given their own individual songs like every other ending, but anyway, I really dislike this one. It just comes off as noise and is just really unpleasant to listen to in my opinion. The semi-hero theme, the Chosen One, I like quite a bit. The lyrics come off as too try-hardy for my liking in places for Shadow the Hedgehog, but I really enjoy the, I guess, general instrumentation of the song as a whole. But that's not all, there was actually a few vocal tracks that were cut from the main game. I've been able to find 3. Who I Am, which was meant to be the main theme of the game. I think it's okay, I much prefer I Am All of Me though. The other 2 songs are by a band called Sins of a Divine Mother, titled All of Me and Broken. I personally prefer Broken out of the 2, but I'm not really a fan of either. I don't really know how to describe it, I just find the songs kind of boring to be honest. Since I've been going on about the songs of each ending, I should probably go over what happens in each ending very quickly. Disclaimer, I forgot to record all of the endings and like fuck am I playing this game more than I absolutely have to, so when I'm missing an ending, just pretend it's there. It's real, it happens, I promise. Right. Shadow thinks he's a robot for slightly various reasons and karate chops Eggman to death twice. He becomes suicidally depressed and also Vector's there. He decides to live on his own on the Ark. He karate chops Eggman to death again. He decides he wants to be Black Doom's guardian. He wants to blow up the planet. He decides he's going to take over the known universe. Fucking hell, alright. He's just the most powerful hedgehog in the world! My goodness, what a sentence to say. And finally, he does the right thing and helps Sonic defeat Black Doom and the aliens. But, you know what? What you wanted Shadow to be doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Because all the endings are non-canon. I've been not so subtly alluding to this throughout the video, but if you beat the game and get all 10 endings, if you play through this fucking game 10 times, you get the real canon last story. And as promised, I'll go over the root names that I got before getting onto the last story. Punishment. Thy name is a ruin. The Nightmare's Sublimination. The Loner's Choice. Identity. An Android's Rebellion. A New Empire's Beginning. Lost to the Universe's Abyss. Destiny for Two. The Spun Threads of Fate. And a Coffin's Memories. Fuck off. Just fuck off. Also, why is every noise you click on anything in the menus gun noises? It's not cool. Fuck off. So, everyone ends up meeting in the Black Comet. Black Doom takes the Chaos Emeralds and uses them to warp the comet down to Earth so they can drain the Earth of all life, I think. The group are paralyzed by some alien gas, and they're going to be eaten by the little blob fellas. But with Shadow having alien DNA, is not affected by the gas and pursues Black Doom, while not killing the rest of the little blobs. Alright, Shadow mate, leave your pals to die then. It's not very nice, is it? We're at the final level, the last way, and surprisingly this level is pretty good. You've got to make it to the goal in 10 minutes, and there's nothing but aliens to get in your way. Chaos control is required to get past certain sections, but with how plentiful the enemies are, gaining blue meter is extremely easy, keeping things frantic and, for a change, fun. Things seem hopeless, but after a very conveniently timed pep talk by Gerald and Maria on an old recording, Shadow turns into his super form in order to fight the final boss, Devil Doom. Now, the bosses in this game range from an absolute joke to a boring waste of time with no in-between. Guess which side Devil Doom falls into. The idea is to use a charged up Chaos Spear to hit his eye, rinse and repeat, but with no manual lock on, you find yourself hitting random pieces of debris or seemingly any part of Devil Doom's body that isn't his eye. Chaos Blast can be pretty useful for a couple of easy hits, but Chaos Control, the power that comes much more frequently, is almost useless. It's good for slowing down the debris to get rings easier, I guess, but rings are already pretty easy to get, and if you try to use it on the boss, all that happens is that you hit it once or twice, and you have to wait ages for it to swap sides or teleport away. Now draw her giving bursts. Shadow moves the comet into the Eclipse Cannon, destroying it and ending the game on Shadow at peace with his past, and Gerald being forgiven of all wrongdoing from Adventure 2. I mean, I guess I know it's trying to go for like a happy ending, but that seems a little bit disingenuous, but okay. And the ending's accompanied with Crush 40's Never Turn Back, a pretty good song to cap off an absolute clusterfuck of a game. This has easily been the hardest video to make so far for me. Not necessarily through the scripting or the editing, but gathering the willpower to play through this game 10 goddamn times was a challenge to say the least. I've on at least some level enjoyed, or at least gotten enjoyment from certain parts of every single game I've covered on this channel. I can't really say that about Shadow the Hedgehog. In fact, I'd actively recommend not playing this game. If for whatever reason you have to, if someone points a gun at your head and says, you have to play Shadow the Hedgehog or I'm shooting you in the fucking head. Yes, that common everyday situation that we're all placed in at some point in our lives. I'd honestly say you're best off only running through to the goal rings, completing the neutral ending, and looking up the rest of the endings on YouTube. All in all, I'm just glad to be done with Shadow the Hedgehog. And that is the end of the video. Yeah, as I said, this was definitely the hardest video for me to make so far. I've noticed that I'm getting closer to 100 subscribers, so I just want to thank everyone that has subscribed so far. I know that's not really a big milestone in the grand scheme of things on YouTube, but hey, it's cool to me. I'm not sure what I want to cover next. I'm thinking maybe some Sonic spin-offs, maybe Pokemon or Devil May Cry, or maybe a video on Project 06. I'm not sure. I might start work on the Bloodborne video if I get a capture card soon. I might in the next few days. And again, I've been considering doing some more icebergs like I mentioned in the last video I've made. I'm thinking maybe one on Sonic, Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, but I'm very willing to hear suggestions from like other games or maybe even TV shows. I don't know. Or just like general internet things. Like I said, I'd love to hear some suggestions on what you guys would like me to cover. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.